Welcome to Shore Perspectives, a community feature of WESR Radio, highlighting the spirit of the shore from those who call it home.
This is Barry Mears from Greenbush, Virginia. My favorite topic is the Eastern Shore of Virginia. So I said, the name Shoreborn struck me right off the bat. So I said, let's do a page here dedicated to our way of life. It's a very unique way of life. Everybody resonates, no matter where you travel. They pick up on our accent. They know exactly who we are when we talk about the Eastern Shore and the whole Delmarva Peninsula. Shoreborn had very humble beginnings. I started the page and with a few old photographs and tried to get some membership activity. I worked day and night, a few hours each evening, and I got a few members along. And I had this conversation recently with Bill Decato, as a matter of fact. 67 is a number that sticks in my mind because I was stuck on 67 members for weeks. And I'd started thinking about panning the project. And I'd go to the group and I said, look, is this worthwhile? Do y'all want me to continue with this project? And it was absolutely yes. Well, it was a very happenstance thing that changed the course of Shoreborn. My mother came over and she happened to be talking about her high school days and a dance and an event that went on during high school. Well, I've always been a collector of crazy things, so I said, hey, I have that annual. So I went in there to my lair, I call it, and I pulled out an old Hancock High School yearbook. And I found similar stories she was talking about, and I said, but this would be great to put on the group. So I started taking pictures of old scenes, senior pictures, dances, and that sort of thing, and I posted them to the group. Well, I went to bed that night, and when I woke up the next morning, I had 1,100 members. So, as they say, the rest is history. It was at that point I knew what the heartbeat of Shoreborn was going to be, and the pulse of the page was going to be the nostalgia and the history of the Eastern Shore. Well, with that newfound information, I just went wild. I found out old stories of various interests around here, and I learned that these stories aren't just words; they evoke emotion. When you hear Pappy's Pizza, it's not just a place; it's a memory. It's something that really hits you home. When you think of Cherry Jane, you think about that cheeseburger or Country Magic Restaurant or the Trawler. And I just started zoning in on those types of stories and photographs, and it really just went from there. We started letting the Shoreborn members express themselves on the page, and that is the greatest release anyone can have, is self-expression. And to come on there and share a memory or a story, then the other members, they feed off of it, and it means something to them. So they come on and they add to the story. So where you start is never where you finish. Unlike other forms of media like print, there's little interaction with the writer and the reader. With Shoreborn, you can have immediate reaction. We found family reunions on the page. People that didn't realize they were related. People didn't realize, hey, that's my Aunt Martha. Wait a minute, that's my great-grandmother. And they kept sharing it. So it kept growing and growing and growing. And part of what I did to just help facilitate and keep things moving, I came up with a hook called Shoreborn Legends. And that's where we take an individual in the community that's made an impact. A lot of people know who they are. And we celebrate them. It could be anybody from Jimmy Davenport to George McMath. I mean, we're all inclusive in what we do. We like to celebrate everyone. I also came up with a segment called Shoreborn Sleuths, and that was for anything with obscurity that nobody had heard about. Well, the Shoreborn Sleuths can't be stumped. I've never put anything out there from the turn of the century to present times that people can't just come on there and tell me something about it. The idea that I had for writing a book came specifically from the group itself and the things I was covering. I was getting instant feedback. I did a story on the Dream Roller Rink, and we had over 6,000 interactions on it. And fast forwarding through the 1,100 members, we're now at 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, and growing every day. And from that point forward, it was no looking back. So from the Dream Roller Rink to pony pinning to our great carvers and artists and Willie Crockett, and we were able to use Shoreborn as a platform to not only reconnect everybody here on the shore, but to educate everybody that that was moving here. I've had so many realtors tell me the first thing they do is turn their clients on to the page Shoreborn. Said, hey, this is where you are, and this is a very, very a community-oriented community, and we're looking out for each other, and it's a great place to live. And Shoreborn's been a great platform and a vehicle to get that message out. Well, if anybody likes the page Shoreborn, they're going to like the book. I actually took this picture, and my editor-in-chief is my daughter, Cameron Mears. She's been by my side since day one. We've worked on many projects over the years across the street here at the Elks Lodge. She was my sidekick when I was Old Pappy on many of our Wingfest episodes. And she kind of kept me straight. I didn't grow up with computers. I wrote the whole book in longhand. And she helped me with the computer side of it and editing. If you want to know what Living Shoreborn's about, if you like the carnival, if you remember the carnival, it's in here. If you like Watchaprig and the fleet fishing at Watchaprig, Tangier Island, Smith Island, Chrisfield, Scorchy Talls, little teasers. There's a section in the book, and I won't tell you everything, but it's sort of like how times have changed, sort of like when I was growing up into modern times. Had a little run-in with Officer Robert Cobb in my youth, and you'll enjoy that story, I believe, in the book, because I don't think the outcome would have been the same today as it was back then. So it's just a walk through the shore, through the perspectives that I learned from Shoreborn. So technically my name's at the bottom of the book, but the true author of the book is the Shoreborn family and the people that told the stories, because that's certainly what inspired it. Well, as we age, Kelly, our perspectives change so much, and society changes. I challenge people all the time to ride around and find a churchyard with a bunch of bicycles laying around and the kids playing ball, and technology has changed a lot of that. And I think the memories and old pictures, they're windows into the past. There's a section in the book that talks about Christmas to Remember. My sister and I sitting there with a Sears and Roebuck catalog and a magic marker and a little teaser line in the book. I said, when I gave it to Mom, it looked more like a playbook from Vince Lombardi from all the crosses, but it was the excitement. It's the going into the towns and the decorations. It's the memories. It's the things that draw us back to our youth. And they're ever so more important as we age, because, time is fleeting. And we lose people along the way, and we gain people. My perspective in the book talks about me being a boy, a teenager, a father, and now a grandfather. So as you walk through life, you're going to have those changes, and you're going to have those ups and downs. But we're forever positive in the book, and I'm so proud of that. It's a place, Shoreborn's a place you can come, and it's just like the porch lights on. We treat everybody just like their family. Very difficult to take on a project like this and to be a full-time administrator to Shoreborn and Country Kitchen, full-time job, family, juggling friends, and an occasional bit of recreation. So first and foremost to my family and my daughter, who's been absolutely wonderful through this whole thing. Cameron, so not many 17-year-olds want to sit in the room with their dad every night and edit a book. And lastly, C.L. Marshall, old Captain C.L. Marshall of Tangier Sound Charters. He's an author and he's a great friend. And I want to thank C.L. because he gave me a lot of great advice through this book. And one of the things he said to me that was most important was when I included the materials inside the book, the most important part of the book would be what I decided to put on the back jacket. So I'd like to share that with you as a teaser anyway. The The Eastern Shore is a living time capsule that has withstood the true test of the ages. The misty haze of a morning sky marks the dawn of a new day in the life of a shore-born soul. The seagulls are up with the sun, and workboats chug at the creek in a pre-dawn sky. There's only one thing on a waterman's mind: making a living and doing their family proud. The author shares touching stories of friendship and the power of community, as well as navigating the changing social and economic landscape. Through vivid storytelling and personal reflection, Living Shoreborn is a heartfelt tribute to a distinct and treasured way of life. God bless the Eastern Shore of Virginia.
For Shore Perspectives and WESR Radio, I'm Kelly Gaskell.